Where have I been? Well, I had to take some time for myself, let's be fair. I deleted the majority of the videos, unfortunately, because I didn't have a way to back them up, and I didn't have the time or mental acuity to sit there and edit them. But having lost someone close, it made me reassess everything I was doing, because I got into art to be able to paint, and haven't actually had an awful lot of time or resources to do that. This is why when I had a bit of money, I poured it into myself. I went to the gym, well, signed up to a gym, which has helped massively. But it's also why I've taken a different approach to sort of making content. Like I say, it took about 6 months to really change my mind. But now I love it. Fully entrenched in doing it, and like I say, going to keep making art and keep making content, but had to get out of the funk that I was in. And the piece you're looking at is the sort of culmination of all of it, really, because whilst I've played around with some paintings here and there, I've made, a handful of... If you go on my Instagram, you'll see what I mean. I've still been posting, I've still been creating, it's just haven't been talking much. And a lot of it's, like I say, is knowing where to start, because my life is mental. But that's why I got into art, because it's one of the few things I can do where I can actively utilise my imagination, or use my mind in a creative and or useful way. It's a lot of the reason why I spent 5 months creating the books and doing the kids' books, because I just wanted to not only give something back, but do something different, make something that has more of a function. And that's kind of what got me onto what you're looking at, which, it's a lot of work. Thinking back at it now, is like... And that's the thing a lot of people miss with what I do, is like, I've never had a lot of resources to do what I do, and, whilst I've made do, the last few years has made me realise that to really excel, I need to be around people that are also excelling. And, there's a level of success that, whilst as an artist, creating art is in fact, part of it. It's part of being successful, but when you... Like, from my background, nobody gives a flying monkeys. Like, create as much art as I want, and it's invalid, basically, because all they really care about is what are you doing for work and how are you earning money. Which, is a thing. Something that, I did it for many years unsuccessfully. That's why I went into art, because I figured if I was going to be poor, I might as well be poor and do something I love. But like I said, as I've progressed with this sort of idea of making more functional art and like pushing myself, it's like or wanting the circumstances to mirror my mindset now. You know, it's like having a studio space and a canvas stand or multiple canvas stands to work on multiple pieces. Because whilst what you're looking at is beautiful and arguably much better in actual daylight, I know I can do much better. What you're seeing was painted on the underside of the kitchen table that you're currently balanced on. But it's also a mirrored reflection of the future. Because since the start of like getting into art and producing art, I've wanted to make like larger scale installations and work on bigger and bigger scales. Is why a lot of the time I start small and then slowly scale up. But with what you're looking at as the sort of final embodiment of that, because not only will it allow me to create more and give me somewhere to do more, but it'll also give something that you can interact with and or come see. Because that's the thing, whilst I love making silly things and making silly art and having fun, I do love the sort of making beautiful somethings for the sake of making beautiful somethings, you know, like making art. That's kind of what I wanted with what you're looking at. It's having that balance between, well, studio and installation. It's having something I can admire, but also other people can admire, you know, like, because that's the thing, whilst I could put a lot of my work in galleries, it's in, you know, it'll only be there for a very short period of time and then travel, yada yada, pick a thing. And a lot of it's, like I say, I just want to bury myself in the work and just create. Which is where the inherent frustration comes from a lot of the time, because I'm not able to do what I want to do, you know, like, I know where I want to be and what I want to do, it's just the how. And people say, yeah, you shouldn't focus on the how, but at the same time, I'm a very realistic type of person, where it's like, not just going to magic, 5-10 million out of thin air just to fund a project that, well, will inevitably be very profitable, but, you know, it's like, yeah. Like I mentioned in a previous video, messing around with ideas, it's like, I know a lot of it will be inherently profitable, but until I've got my hands on it and I've got patent, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't really want to talk about it. But moving forward, this is what I say, is I still want to play around and have fun with what I do and keep creating and, well, keep pushing myself, but it's not only having the team of people behind me to help, but also the fundamentals, because like the last couple of years, all I've wanted to do is play around with Nightshade and upset some of the AI. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, Nightshade is a program that essentially degrades all AI photo generation, because I'm acutely aware that a lot of what I do will get put on or utilised. But it's also stuff like the website, because without the without the funds, I can't add any more work. I can't really change anything. And like I say, or like I said in the last video, my mind isn't like, I don't get inspired by the financial side of things. I understand it and I know I can do it, but I don't really like, yeah. It's like my brain just doesn't actually want to do it in any way, shape, or form. Like, and that's the thing. There was so much art over the last few years because whilst I haven't actually posted a lot, I have kept creating. But then it's like I say, what do you do with it all? At a certain point, it's like, well, some of it needs to go into gallery, some of it needs to go into prints. Like, I explained to someone how I essentially designed a chess set already, and I want to turn them into paintings, and then inevitably get someone to turn them into a chess set. And he was like, "Well, why don't you do that?" I was like, "Well, because whilst I can do 3D modeling, whilst I can do, do I want to waste weeks and weeks and months and like, no, not really. When I could just pay someone to do it, it's like, It's like with creative endeavors, all I want to do is get involved and do the work. With all the other stuff, it's like, I don't have the mental energy. Not even energy. It's like when I write, my brain just goes into over-analyzing mode, and I'll end up spending hours and hours and hours just creating this perfect text that a lot of the time people aren't going to fucking read anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, and what takes me several hours would take someone who actually enjoys doing it, a lot less time. And that's the biggest thing with like having the space, because at the moment I can't collaborate with people, I can't sort of work with people, I can't, it's just limited what I can do. But this is what I say, moving forward, this is where the what you're looking at is inevitably the goal. Let's break the third wall. Yeah, don't ask. Ooh-ah. Yeah, there's so much detail on this. I spent way too much time on silly little details that really aren't ever going to actually be noticed. This is what I say, this is the sort of beautiful thing with these pieces. You can hide so much that you'll never see unless you actually take the time to look. But relatively simple, it's just a Fibonacci loop, just in 3 dimensions. Well, with some added quirks. Can't remember if I've still got the 3D model up on the channel, but at some point I'll do something with it. Ooh. But yeah, if you want to get a bit more involved and or keep an eye on what I'm doing, go follow my Instagram, because it's more, less likely to cull it at any time, and well, gives you a bit of an insight of the day-to-day, because at the moment it's just pure content creation, which, yeah, driving me up the wall a little bit, because all I want to do is what you're looking at. Get the fundamentals, set up a studio workshop, and then work, and work, and work, and work. But as I say, content creation for the moment until something changes, and then. But like I say, I will keep you updated. I will keep putting out videos here and there. So make sure to subscribe and follow my Instagram. And I will be back with more content. So keep your eyeballs locked. Thank you very much for watching. Until the next time, stay awesome, keep positive. Peace out, my lovers.